Yeah. Albie Layer just making it through, taking it down. I saw an interesting post from you last night on your Instagram account. It looks like it paid off on the inside for you.
Yeah, there's not really an outside section right now. Or I don't know. No one will probably tell you this, but it's not that good. But that's the beauty of Jaws, is even when it kind of like it's probably like a 3 out of 10 for Jaws right now, but it has enough size so like the wave can still come in. So I didn't really get any of the waves, but kind of stuck to my little zone in there, and I don't know, got a couple.
So in the heats, you know, there's usually a lot more of those little ones coming in where you sit. You got a different board. You have some different equipment out here from everybody else.
Yeah, I've always my shaper Sean Ordonez, he lives here, and he's kind of like, I haven't really told him what I want. He watches me surf and shapes me what he thinks I need, and he's kind of brilliant because he keeps going smaller and smaller, and it keeps working better and better for me. Just with what I want to do, sitting on the inside, just trying to get barreled, not really trying to get the biggest wave. Just that shape.
All right, well, great heat, making it on through. Hopefully you get some more waves in the next one that you want. Find that barrel you're looking for.
I know. If I go through this event without getting barreled, man, I'm going to be bummed out. I want to say hi to all my friends in San Diego. I hope they're watching. Hi, guys.
All right, boys, back up to you guys.
Well, there's two great characters, Strido Ozalewski, and his real name is Alfred Louis Layer IV, and Albie Layer, quite a character as we take a look at this. I believe it is Shane Dorian to start. No, it's Lenny. Now, if you're going to talk about somebody that has surfed every different equipment in the world out there and knows about how riding the cross chop and dealing with the wind is a 7-time stand-up paddler, incredible paddler and kiteboarder and windsurfer, is Lenny.
Yeah.
Has this down pat, and he knows how to deal with the wind.
Yeah, he really does. He is a classic Maui surfer, has grown up here on Maui, and they breed them different down here. You know, they windsurf, as you said, they stand up paddle, and of course they surf, and then they have big waves, small waves, and everything in between. So Lenny is just the ultimate product of Maui, and it has a huge future.
6-man heat, 50 minutes. Let's take a look while we were away. Shane Dorian and Shane wearing white, and this guy opened up early this morning.
Well, Shane Dorian, obviously one of the favorites in this event. Not only does he charge like a maniac, but he's just like Greg Long, very calculated, gives himself the ultimate chance to make every drop. Dialed in for the surf spot, for the reef, where to sit. So just an overwhelming favorite, really. And then Ian Walsh as well, you know, kind of a protege of Shane Dorian. Had really looked up to Shane, and as a result, he has soaked up a lot of Shano's information and you know, how to surf out here at Jaws. Together, they kind of tackled this wave and kind of at the forefront of paddling at Jaws in that movement.
Yeah, Ian Walsh has learned a lot, originally starting with Luke Hargraves at the age of 17. Now Walsh checks in at a very, very young 32 years of age. Phenomenal stuntman. He is really following the path of Shane Dorian. In fact, Shane came over to the Walshes for their really close friends dinner last night. You got two guys that have been doing towing history for years, and one towing one another back and forth, and now they are at the forefront of paddling. That is Ian Walsh in green and Shane Dorian in white, and we're going to wait for some scores. It looks like Walsh's score of 517.
Yeah, and this was Lenny right here. Nice, beautiful drop. Wow, look at that. He got a ton of air under his board, but I love how he stayed over the deck of his surfboard and reconnected. So that's going to be a nice start for Kai. And look at Shano, perfectly right behind the button there. And he actually got a nice little bottom turn. That way it didn't, you know, get that big old barrel section that we know that Jaws is known for at the bowl. But here's the good news. It allowed him just to get a nice, comfortable start, bottom turn out of there. He didn't get waxed and pushed through the inside, so that'll calm the nerves right away.
Back in the old days, these huge boards, they were called rhino chasers, kind of like if you're going to go out hunting. Well, these rhino chasers, they talk about having multiple boards. They are big, they're heavy, they don't break easy. We've already seen a couple of broken boards. Lots of glass, 6 with a huge stringer. It is a plank, and that weight really helps them get in, but then obviously it's an issue once you get on the wave.
On a day like today, you really need a heavy surfboard to penetrate down the wall of the wave and hopefully not get airborne. So a lot of these boards start at right around 20 pounds. You may even see some surfboards out here being used today that are around 30 pounds, which is unbelievable because your typical high-performance surfboard is around 5 pounds.
Who's got the guts to sit to the inside and turn and go? You've got to be, wave selection will be a key here today. So it is Anthony Tashnik out there, along with Nacho Gonzalez, Koa Rothman. Koa getting the last chance. Big Wave World Tour equals 7th, gets a call up. Shane Dorian, Ian Walsh, and Kai Lenny. And Kai Lenny, I talked to him, he's a 7-time world SUP champion at Piahi. He is windsurfed, kite surfed, towed in, surfed, and even foil boarded. He sounds like he's the next generation of Dave Kalama and Laird Hamilton.
Yeah, an absolute product of Maui, but he is very skilled. That's what's cool about Kai Lenny. Just a great surfer in his own right. I mean, if you just looked at Kai as a surfer alone, despite the stand-up paddling and all the other stuff, he's got skills.
You can now watch the World Surf League's live event broadcast, up-to-date, favorite athletes anywhere in the world. Mobile device or tablet, download the WSL app. That's on Google Play for Android or the App Store for iOS. There's live broadcasts, event alerts, everything you need in the WSL. Follow the athletes so much. Ross, it is brilliant how many times you've been in a car and you tuned it in and your speakers in the car, and you shouldn't be watching, but you're listening to a broadcast around the world.
I use my app, honestly, all the time. I'm not just saying that, and it's very easy to navigate, and you can set your fantasy team, you can look at profiles, so if you don't have it on your device, download that puppy. It's pretty cool to use.
Yeah, if you're watching right now on a computer or on the big screen in Hawaii, it's on Time Warner Cable and big screen, but if you're Chromecasting onto your big television, but you've got to leave the house or wherever you're at, be sure and download the app. That is the WSL app. Mobile device, you gotta have it. So for Ian Walsh and Shane Dorian, I don't know, they're gonna work the lineup. They've got so much experience working together. Walsh at 32 and Shano checks in, well, gosh, about 43 years young, and he is leading his own mission.
And I'm glad you brought up the ages, because this heat is pretty cool. You got Anthony Tashnik, who's kind of sits in the middle, and we got a paddler here.
It is Walsh again. Walsh now dealing with the wind, drops in straight, doesn't want to get anything underneath. And Walsh getting the corner, mom and dad watching, as well as brother who advanced out of an earlier heat, got second. Ian Walsh, Hokipa, Jaws, his playground.
That was amazing. It's hard to even kick out today without getting airborne. Beautiful wave there from Ian Walsh. He made that look way too easy. And
how good is Ian Walsh? At the HIC prior to the start of the Triple Crown, the qualifier, he picked up 16 grand winning at Sunset Beach. He will be in the qualifying event for the Billabong Pipe Masters qualifier that'll probably start on Tuesday, and looking for a spot in the Pipe Masters. That's Ian Walsh.
Yeah, Ian, another well-rounded surfer, just like his buddy Shane Dorian. Surfs great in smaller waves, but he is a beast at Sunset. He's done really well there. As you mentioned, he won the HIC Pro earlier this winter, so he is on a monster roll.
Would I be wrong in saying this is the world's largest Grom comp? Because these guys are really Groms. They have dedicated their life to surfing. They still act like they're 12 years old, but they've got a lot more responsibilities. Really thrilled about surfing, and they're Groms at heart.
Yeah, and the whole age thing in this heat is cool to watch, because we talked about Ian, how he's kind of in the middle there with Anthony and Tashnik in terms of age. Then you got the grommets, so to speak, the youngsters with Nacho Gonzalez and Koa Rothman and Kai Lenny, but Shane Dorian is the veteran. I mean, these guys have looked up to Shane for a long time, and they just soak it in. They learn from it. They learn what's possible. And look at Ian, again, local boy here from Maui, again, one of the favorites here in this event. He made that look really easy. But what's most important about this ride, even though it's not one of the best rides we've seen today, it's going to calm the nerves. It's going to be a solid score on the board. Now he can go out there and be a little more selective.
That is Ian Walsh, who loves to snowboard as well. And again, we will see him in the qualification event at Pipe on Tuesday, just all around the globe. Shane Dorian rushing in from Fiji, doing a little R&R and fun down there where he used to be a boatman. And Shane, he's got just a beautiful family. His wife Lisa, and Jackson, his son 9, and little daughter Charlie, who checks in at 6. I mean, he's a family man first and foremost.
He really is. But Shane, he has just been a passionate big wave surfer for many years. I grew up with him, a good buddy of mine, and we saw it right when we were maybe as early as 15 years old. He just kind of set himself apart as one of those guys like, whoa, I didn't know you were out of your mind. And, right away we knew that this guy loved doing crazy stuff in big waves.
The lip looked like it's 3 feet thick. That is something to watch out for. So in the lineup, we got Koa Rothman, who came in as filling in. He's an alternate, the 21-year-old from Sunset Beach. His brother, unfortunately, has been eliminated. Koa Rothman in yellow out there, a goofy footer that has been known to charge. He's on a Pizel, and guess who's in his corner? Just surprise, surprise. Dingo Morrison. Dean Morrison
That's
is
cool.
here, you know, helping him out.
And Dingo's been charging in his own right, and he's picked up a bunch of those Pizels as well. Kind of at the forefront of getting some of those heavier boards with a lot of foam and girth up the front to get down the face. That's the whole key, is getting down his thing. And again, we're going to see how Shane, perfect line, you know, right behind the peak there. Nice little bottom turn. And, you know, I actually think this is the perfect warm-up wave. Even though it didn't have that infamous west bowl to pull into, it's just a nice way to kind of dip the toes in here this morning, if there's such a thing. And then this is the first wave of Ian Walsh. Again, these waves come in right into mid-range. For Shane Dorian, he grabbed himself a 6, so just a little higher. Ian Walsh, he's got a 5.93 and a 5.1, so some solid scores here. And then Lenny here in black. Let's see, 3.57 for that airdrop there. So, you know, it's not a great score, but, you know, he's going to be stoked that at least he's got half the job done out there. It is top 2.
Well, coming all the way over from Plencia, Euskadi, the Basque Country of Spain, number 21 on the Big Wave Tour, is Nacho Gonzalez. What a great competitor he is, and a phenomenal surfer in various size waves. The 30-year-old has 6 brothers. When the family goes surfing, it's crowded in the lineup there, the Basque Country of Spain. He's wearing blue, looking for his first wave. Talk about Shane Dorian. He first towed in Jaws with Double D, Derek Dorner, back in the 90s. And then came the paddle in, and his first paddle in was 2010. It's 2015. You're telling me that we've only really paddled in, the boys have paddled in for the last 4.5, 5 years?
Yeah, it's wild how fast, you know, the progression of big wave surfing at Jaws. It really is ideal for towing. We heard Dave Kalama talk about, you know, the performance level and how you can actually ride this wave with a thin, small, heavy tow board. You know, you're knifing across the face with so much ease. You're pulling into barrels. You're actually doing maneuvers. But the cool thing about paddling is there's so much bravery involved. To commit to a drop, that is what big wave surfing really hangs its hat on. And out here at Jaws, it's the ultimate test.
Anthony Tajnik out of Santa Cruz, the 31-year-old, does have a ranking at equal 21st right now. Wasn't perfect for him down in South America for the first event, but a standout surfer for many years. He did a lot of stunt work in the movie Chasing Mavericks, and again, he won the Mavericks event back in 2005 over Greg Long and a couple other great surfers. A lot of characters in the lineup with a lot of history, and we'll just see what's happening. Obviously, the bottom of the bracket with Shane Dorian, Ian Walsh, and even Lenny. A lot of big names right here.
Yeah, big names. And Anthony Tajnik from Northern California, he is very strong in big waves. He's extremely brave. He rides some different equipment too. I remember in the Mavericks contest we worked on, Dave, he was riding a twin fin. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of board he's got here. I don't think he'll have the luxury of riding that kind of board here with all the wind.
Well, let's take a look at, we're going to watch this wave. If nobody gets it, we're going to show you a highlight of what happened this morning before the contest. And the highlight was Shane Dorian. But first and foremost, everybody puts on the brakes, backs up. That's where you want some wind. You don't want to get pitched over the falls. But then they look over quickly to see if another wave's going to clean them up. So Shane Dorian early this morning really set the standard and got the entire world lit up, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just that guy. He's out there just frothing. So excited to actually participate, not out there surviving, not out there with any fear. He said, I want a piece of that thing. And again, this is the very first big wave ridden of the morning, out of his mind. Wow, taking a look at that again, I just forgot how big that wave was. That's literally one of the biggest paddle-in waves at Jaws we've seen to date. And amazing that Shane actually side-slipped down that thing as if it was a 6-footer at backdoor. But again, that's what makes Shane such a great big wave rider. He always stays committed. He never bails out.
We also saw a great wave by Lenny, and one of our alternates went down with a separated shoulder.
Yes, he did. That was a huge wave from Mark Matthews there, full hero status there. So hopefully he is healing up and he's okay, because he totally got pounded on that wave. That was a giant wave.
You've got to notice how Shane Dorian attacks this wave. He's always looking for the barrel, a quick top turn. He negotiates the air. He wants to set his line early. That bottom turn, then pull up into the barrel. It might not be the right conditions today. He is looking to go deep, which he is right now, and charge and get under the lip. Believe it or not, this is kind of like pipeline. It's just a super extreme barrel riding fest, and if you can't get the barrel, which we've seen 2 9-point rides, unmakeable barrels, but that's how they advance, 2 surfers.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's kind of the funny thing today is we're actually competing. You know, it's very different from say an event like the Eddie Cow where you're just out there for 2 different heats for about an hour at a time, and you can kind of casually catch a couple of waves. In this format, you got to get 2 good waves, 2 scores, and top 3 advance, just like a traditional surf contest. And it's very unique, but it's cool because you're up against the elements with the guys in your present heat.
Let's talk about the Big Wave Awards coming up in a couple of months. The Billabong Ride of the Year Award, the Tag Heuer XXL Biggest Wave Award. Then there's a Big Wave Award as well. Big Wave Paddle In, Tag Heuer Wipeout of the Year. We might have already seen that here. And then the Surfline Overall Performance. Shane Dorian's won basically every one of those several times.
He's going to take a look at a huge wall, Dave, approaching right his way. I think Shane's on the outside deepest.
Oh, he's wearing the white singlet. You might be able to spot him here. Look at that, up and over that wave. Solid 35 feet of wall, and it's moving in. Everybody, there's no forced position. There's no priority. You sit where you think you can catch a wave and make a wave, and Dorian is going for the throat out there. Dorian right now is in the 2nd spot. He's got 1 wave. They've doubled it. It looks like Dorian's got that 6.17.
I mean, minimum. I'm guessing these waves are at least 45 feet tall. It'd be cool to see if somehow we could actually measure these waves, but that was a monster wave for Shane. He was just a little too far inside.
He's paddling. He's seeing another set, and he's repositioning himself, and
he's getting deeper.
People are going, you don't want to go from there. It's way too deep. And where's Ian Walsh? Keep an eye on Kai Lenny as well. Koa Rothman coming in.
Ooh, this
Koa's
next
looking
wave.
for his first score. Look where it.
Watch this next wave, Dave. This has got a really nice angle on it. It's got a bit of a horseshoe from the north. Let's see if Shane can get inside enough.
And Walsh is right there. If Shane can't get in, Walsh is going to drop in. Walsh is going, okay, where are you going to go? Walsh might turn around and go on this. Here he goes, surfer in green. 32-year-old Ian Walsh from Haiku drops in, negotiates the wind. Big airdrop, pulls into the barrel. It's massive, and he goes down. What a throaty call right into and it spits. Spectacular wave. He's taking the scraps at Shane Dorian, but what a great drop.
That was far from a scrap. That was a crazy wave. Big, fat double up, and there he is. He just popped up, so he was down for a good 10, maybe 15 seconds, and he's going to have to wear that on the head. The ski could not pick him up in time, so let's keep an eye on him. He's getting rolled right now underwater. Mentally, he's trying to stay calm there. He just popped up. That is good news right there, so he'll pull some oxygen in right there. Now the ski's going to have a shot to grab him.
Ian Walsh, actually born in Rhode Island of all things. Yeah, great bang pace back there, but May 10th, 1988, but at an early age the parents moved to Maui. He's here, and he's one of the world's greatest stuntmen, watermen. He's got some phenomenal brothers that help him out, and right now it's about saving himself, and luckily his board didn't break.
Well, I know,
get back on the horse.
I know he didn't complete that ride, but it's still going to be a great score. He handled a really hefty drop, got air, and then controlled his equipment by actually grabbing that inside line, that rail, and pulling into the barrel. That will not be overlooked.
This is our 2nd event for the World Surf League Big Wave Tour, Piahi, and here is Walshy dropping in.
It was a huge dilemma right there. He made the decision to kind of pull in, maybe had just a brief second thought, and that's when that lip just barely kind of picked him off, and it got that weight on his heels, and he fell backwards of all places in that barrel.
I think he was like hesitating, looking at this massive curtain, saying, am I too late to pull in proper and get up?
Right there, he's trying to get that inside rail in, a bottom turn into the barrel. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is bottom turn into a lip. So that was that 1 or 2 seconds where he takes, watch his face. He's going to look up at the lip line and like, can I pull in? And he's right. He actually did get clipped. That wave just kind of breathed on his head, and it was enough to flick him off his balance.
At 1,000 frames a second, let's take a look at Ian Walsh and what happened.
Right there, beautiful work from Ian Walsh. Handling that air under his board, reconnected. Now he's grabbing that inside rail. See how he's got all that weight on his toes? He's trying to draw that line as much as possible so that he could pull in. There's the little second thought. He's like, wait, am I going to get under the hood or not? Watch that lip just barely clip. It's actually like the spray from the lip, but it's so powerful at jaws. It was enough to knock him off his toes. Now all that weight is on his heels, and he's toast.
And you're not going to drop in easy. You're going to go skipping down the wave, aren't you? And you're going to just take a beating.
Again, it was still a great score, Dave. He got a 7.67, and I love that because that was the epitome of commitment.
Did he have his back foot in the right spot? It looked like he was trying to shade back to drop and get a little more rail work, put a little more weight on the back. It was just a heavy takeoff, and sometimes when you free fall, you might shift your feet on the board, especially that back foot.
You're going to shift your feet in smaller equipment a lot to where you can perform, but when you're surfing big waves, you really are just trying to ride a wild bull. You're trying to get your weight centered over the board, typically at the front, so you can get your momentum sliding down the face. But after that, a lot of times you get pushed around, and you're just trying to reconnect with your board and regain balance.
Well, he has done a little bit of everything out there, and that is a surfer, Ian Donovan Walsh, 32 years of age, and lives right up the road. IW has dedicated his life to big wave surfing as well, but he is so qualified. He could be on the World Championship Tour, and what we've seen his surfing, he's so well-rounded.
He is well-rounded. He's very strong on his rail. He's got a really nice smooth carve. That's kind of in his wheelhouse. That's what makes him so deadly at Sunset Beach. He's got great results there. And he's good in small stuff too, very well-rounded.
Jason Roberson Memorial Classic, his first contest at Hokipa Beach Park, Hospitality Beach, right down the road here at age 9. And he has given back to the sport like you and a lot of surfers, and Shane Dorian, a lot of the surfers that are established. Mini Huni contest, giving back to the community kids, getting them inspired in the sport. Really great stuff. A lot of these athletes, including Ross Williams, my partner up here, doing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to see, can Ian Walsh and Shane Dorian and Kai Lenny hold on to the lead? Stay with us as we continue live from PIE. Don't miss it. The WSL app is here, and guess what? This isn't the only contest in town. Coming up on Oahu, it is the Billabong Pipe Masters with special events, the Heritage, the Ladies, and of course the Invitational. The event alerts, follow the athletes, bookmark fantasy, it's all there. worldsurfleague.com/app, Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. Google Play for Android, iOS, App Store, thank you very much. We are in Piahi. Yeah, this is the break, not necessarily the town, just off Hana Highway 36 on the way to Hana Town. And we are at the Valley Isle, known for two massive peaks. One is Haleakala, a dormant volcano that's about 10,000 feet above us. But what it is, this Valley Isle causes a Venturi effect, and it's famous for windsurfing and surfing. And these trades wrap around here, and right off to our left is Hokipa Beach Park, one of the greatest places to windsurf and kiteboard. Well, the winds right now are going to be a deciding factor. Who can handle the wind in these conditions with the trades blowing up to 17 knots?
I mean, this wave is tough to surf when there's zero wind. It's just got so much power. Again, it is a big A-frame. It really converges in on itself. So with no wind, it's tough to handle this drop. And you can imagine with 30-mile-an-hour trade winds out here, it is extremely dangerous.
As we take a look at the helicopter shot, Don Shear, unbelievable. He's flying the helicopters like he's playing some kind of a digital remote game on his TV. How much fun is he having?
He's a character. We saw him in a safety meeting last night, and he just really looks like he enjoys flying that thing around. Very confident pilot, and has been doing it for years right here.
He's on the Hughes 500D right there, and take a look at that mount. Beautiful steady cam. And yeah, all the surfers, especially the local guys, know him. And within the 500-foot mark and the FAA, they've cleared the whole airspace here specifically for Don and for this production. A lot of local support, a lot of Hawaiian support, but specifically here on the North Shore The community has come together. We thank everybody for just bringing this one of a kind, basically a record-setting event. The first time ever paddling event at PIE. This is the PIE Challenge. This is a second stop in the World Surf League and the Big Wave Tour, and it's a big tour. And we've had surfers come in at the last minute. Nacho Gonzalez from the Basque Country looking for his first wave. He's wearing yellow out there. He is just taking it all in. How frightening to sit in the lineup. Ian Walsh is your current leader right now. Walsh has got 3 waves, a 517, a 593, and a 767. You're getting rewarded whether you make the wave or not.
Oh yeah, and you know, you can see that that's the confidence that Ian and Shane have, as well as Kai Lenny. The other 3 surfers, Anthony, Nacho, as well as Koa, have yet to catch a wave, but you can see on the horizon right now, there's a few stacks coming in.
What is amazing, everybody from around the world is assembled into a 72-hour notice. A 4.5-month waiting period, 72-hour notice, 24 surfers, 8 alternates, 6-man heats. It's time to go. Rock and roll. We got what, 15 feet at 15 seconds right now. Looking at the buoy readings, there's some massive waves still on us.
I saw Shane Dorian take a long look at that mutant. He was definitely wanting a piece of that, but he knew there was no entry there. That wind was too strong on that double up.
Shane Dorian, Ride of the Year several times, Tube of the Year, Paddle of the Year, Performance of the Year. He has made a living just off the Academy Awards of surfing, big wave surfing, the Big Wave Awards. Absolutely the man in terms of big wave riding.
Well, what I love about Shane Dorian is there's just no frills. That is the real deal. He is the benchmark. You know, what he's done for paddle surfing is next level. So, I mean, you talk about hero status and leading the way in big wave surfing.
Well, you got Ian Walsh and Kai Lenny, locals. Shane Dorian might as well be one as well. Let's go to the desk right now with Ronnie and Dave Kalame. These guys are really familiar to this area, aren't they?
They certainly are. Shane Dorian, you were talking about him just a couple of moments ago. I wanted to get Dave's take as someone who really did kind of set the bar for a long time with Laird Hamilton and surfing waves of consequence. Where does Shane Dorian rate these days? Where does he sit on the totem of big wave surfers?
Well, you know what, to me, Shane, let me tell you a little story. I was down in Fiji about a week ago, and I had an opportunity. I was doing some safety work on a ski, and I had a chance to watch cloud break for a moment, and it wasn't big by this standards by any means, but it was solid 8 foot, meaning 15-foot faces at least. And I had the chance to watch Shane catch a wave, and I hadn't seen him surf in a while. And after that, oh my God, look at that drop. I'll finish the story in a second.
This was this morning.
That's his waves this morning. I mean, that is so classic Shane, drawing first blood on the biggest, thickest wave that we might see all day. Anyway, to finish the story, his surfing was so pure. It was so just the speed and the power and how he used his rail and how smooth he was. He had this, you see a lot of surfers now, they're so energized and they're so attacking. And I saw this patience that seemed to come with age, where if I'm just patient, I let the rail do the work and I use good technique. And he just looked so pure in his surfing. And I came away from that going, wow, he is such a good surfer. And you combine that with the level of commitment that he has for big wave surfing, to me, he's the best. He's the best guy in the water right now. If I had to put money on somebody, it'd be him, because he's got that level of maturity. He has the experience. He's been out here, I think 96 was the first time I surfed with him out here tow surfing. And so he's extremely familiar with this Piahi and this wave.
Well, he also has one of his proteges in the lineup in Ian Walsh, but right now I believe we're watching Nacho Gonzalez from the Basque Country of Spain. He's had a victory on the Big Wave Tour once before, a couple of years back, and he is an exciting young talent and one of the best young surfers. Another really well-rounded surfer. There's a lot of them in this heat. I mentioned Ian Walsh. He's a guy that's going to be competing in the Pipe Masters trials as well. He's come close to qualifying before. He's won QS events. And then you've got Kai Lenny, who you can shed a little bit more light on, because he is probably the most rounded surfer maybe in the world right now.
I agree, Ronnie. Kai is talented. He's one of those guys that's an athlete, and it doesn't matter what sport he would pick, he's going to be perhaps the best at it. He's just that talented, and his windsurfing, his kiting, and we've mentioned all the stuff he does. He's literally one of the best in the world at everything he does, and specifically stand-up paddling. He is the man. Nobody's won as many titles as him. And I've had the good fortune of working with him. Here goes Kai right here.
Wow, commitment plus from Kai Lenny. And there is some of that special athletic ability that Dave Kalama has been talking about. One of the most well-rounded surfers on the planet. He kite surfs, wind surfs. What else is to get into? Stand up.
Well, I've worked a lot with him on stand-up. I'm one of his primary coaches for anything stand-up. And so the amount of time that I've seen him put in just to the stand-up is amazing. And when you combine all the other sports, there's nobody that spent more time on the water than Kai Lenny. I'll put money on it. He's always in the water, whether it be kiting, windsurfing, stand-up, foiling, body surfer. This guy's he loves the water. His passion for the water is so pure, and he has such a love for it. It wouldn't matter if he had any sponsors. He'd spend just as much time doing what he does right now because he has that kind of love for it, and it comes through in everything you see him do.
And waiting for a solid score to drop for this wave. Take us through it, Dave.
Yeah, you can see he's flipped the switch. I am going, and once you do that, it's all business. Like I was speaking about earlier, fear's out the window. You take care of the matter at hand, and you're 100% there. And it's interesting when you do that. When you're on that wave commands so much focus and so much being present in the moment. You can't consciously surf your way through that. You go into this sort of autopilot and your subconscious takes over, and that means all your experience and your confidence are what's guiding you. And your confidence has to be so high to put yourself in that situation. It's just unbelievable. Look at that. It almost looks like his fins have cavitated a little bit, and he's compensating by getting that hand on the water, stabilizing himself, almost like an outrigger, and recorrecting and reattaching those fins so that now he can go into his rail and start projecting himself down the line.
How much can you rely on the surface of the water using your hands in that situation when you're trying to stabilize yourself and, as you said, your fins are starting to drift?
Well, you know, in that situation where you're going that fast, you're dealing with bump, you want the lowest foundation you can create for yourself, because that's stability. And stability is everything right then at that moment. When you stand tall like a longboarder on a small wave, you're not making it to the bottom. You got to be low, you got to be driving forward, and you got to engage that rail.
Well, have a look at Kai Lenny. He's taking off once again. His last score, a 7.77. And he is really starting to find his place in this lineup of, well, just legends.
Kai's building momentum right now. You can see it with another wave right after the one he just got. That means his confidence is growing, and he is going to start pressing harder and harder with every opportunity he gets.
He's also collecting entries for the GoPro Challenge. You can see that camera mounted on his board. $10,000 is going to go to the best capture from the Bihar Challenge, and at the moment I'd say that Kai has picked off probably two of the cleanest waves. There wasn't a lot of spray on the face. I think we're going to get some really nice vision of each of those rides.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this right here, to give a little perspective, this is the pinnacle. This is the Super Bowl. This is the Lakers and the Celtics, Game 7, fourth quarter, coming down to the end. This is the Yankees and the Red Sox in the World Series. This is the pinnacle of our sport right here. And so to have this vantage point and see the images we're seeing right now, it literally doesn't get any better than this. I'm so stoked to be here.
Is this the best show you've ever seen as far as big wave surfing is concerned?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. Dave Kalama making the big statements here on the set. We're going to throw it back to Dave Stanfield and Ross Williams for the call.
Thank you very much, and we're set to go. And as we see, Shane Dorian looks like paddling into this one. It's got a lot of ribs on it. Going straight, he's going to make the bottom turn. And unfortunately, he goes down, but taking a look at the current leading, it looks like Ian Walsh is in the lead. Kai Lenny has take over second spot. Shane Dorian has dropped to third. Nacho Gonzalez gets on the board as well. He's into fourth. Anthony Tajnik and Koa Rothman looking for waves. That's what happens when you got those jerseys and they just get ripped up.
That was very smart from Shane Dorian, realizing like, hey, I need to pick up the pace here. Kai Lenny's been picking off some amazing waves on that inside West Bowl, so I like the fact that Shane clicked into competition mode. Again, that's very easy to forget about today. You know, his typical MO is sitting out there and waiting for monster bombs, but when you're in a 45-minute, 50-minute heat, you have to be flexible, you have to move inside to get your wave quota, and that's exactly what Shane Dorian just did.
Well, he's got that 617, so let's see if that helps his cause. Obviously, 2 waves will be counted, but the highest score will be doubled, so you can actually end up with 30 points. It is Walsh in the lead right now. Kai Lenny in second. Shane Dorian looking to build a score. You can see a couple of zeros in there. Well, that's going to change when he gets his score. Back to Kai Lenny real quick. We talked about everything he did. He learned to surf at the age of 4, learned to windsurf at the age of 6. Hard enough to do that, right? SUP at the age of 7 with Dave Kalama. Age of 9, kite surf. That's impossible at the age of 9. And if you flash back to when he was really young, he surfed in the WSL World Longboard Championships, which happened at San Clemente in 2008. He was in that event. Longboard, shortboard, everything. And we're taking a look. What here? We got a lot. Looks like one of our operators off the personal watercraft.
Yeah, he got picked by a wave and lost his ski for a moment, but he's back on.
And you notice what he was wearing?
In a yellow jersey. He's on the side.
Little assistance right there, and he's actually wearing fins. He's a ski operator with fins, because you're not guaranteed you're going to stay with your ski.
See Koa feeling around there for his straps, making sure that he's got everything straight with those jackets.
Well, Koa, 0.67, I believe. And we are down now to 12 minutes remaining. I'm so glad they extended the heat. We'll see what happens with Shane Dorian.
Yeah, waiting for scores to drop for Shane, and he's going to enjoy that. He'll get a little separation between him and 4th place. This is a stacked heat between Ian, Kai, and Shane. They've really been the strong players so far in this heat.
Koa Rothman on the ski right there. Will he get back out half time to get into the lineup? 11:32. So when they go down, they use their inflatable, their flotation devices. They can pull 1 or 2, they come to the surface and they can recharge, change out cartridges, and or they might have spare cartridges in there.
They do. So like for instance, the Patagonia one, you can pull it down, both of them down, and all 4 canisters will unload. That's if you really want to get that thing inflated. And you can also deflate them by pulling up. So there's ways to just get all of the canisters to unload at once, or you can blow them up halfway, and then you can also deflate. So once you get to the channel, you take the airbag back down. And a lot of these suits are built the same way, so that they can get right back into the action.
Pretty close heat. Walsh has a 21.27 so far. What happened to Koa?
Right here, really nice line there for Koa, but you can see that wind again. Oh my Lord, he got underneath his surfboard, and again, as soon as you detach from the face of the wave, you're at the mercy of whatever that wind's going to do to you. I mean, you're literally flying. And you can see Koa bailed out in front of his board and actually body surfed in the barrel right there, grabbing his ski just in time before that wave smashes behind him. And that's possibly why there it is. This is where the whitewash picked the driver off the ski. As soon as you get sideways in one of these waves, it will roll you within a second. So luckily they were both in a channel, and they recovered the ski, and Koa's safe.
Koa gets a 0.67. That was, you're not going to submerge real easy at that speed. It's like a kind of a drag car. Once you do get into the face of that wave, you accelerate so quickly.
Yeah.
The drop with the water moving up, the trade wind's going up, insane acceleration.
I loved Koa's line. He took off right in the pocket. Look at that. It's really steep, but you can see because the wave is so steep, he's going to get airborne. And as soon as you get airborne, the wind's going to take over. Now he's going to slide down the face, and watch this. Imagine body surfing at Jaws. Right there, he is looking with his eyes, and all of a sudden he is inside that cavernous pit. Amazing wipeout there from Koa.
And my first thought is, yeah, he's out of breath, but more importantly, the board is going to come down and hit him from behind. Very scary.
Well, here's the good news. A lot of times when you wipe out inside the barrel like that, it kind of engulfs you right there. It keeps you in that pocket, and you kind of get spit up right behind. So instead of wiping out in front of the lip, that's when you get rolled and pummeled, and you really have to hold your breath.
Well, one of the few sports in the world where you're dependent on Mother Nature in various reasons, whether it's the tide, the current, the swell, or the wind, and we have got wind on it right now. Who can outsmart the wind? Well, Kai Lenny, he loves his windsurfing and his kiteboarding, and he knows how to paddle, and he knows how to work the ribs. Let's see what's going to happen here. He's moved up to second spot. He needs a 5.73 if he wants to take the win. It's not about winning. This is our 4th heat of the morning. You want to get into the semifinals.
And just observing the way Kai Lenny surfs, something that's actually an advantage for him, because he's got that background in sailing and paddling. He has a little bit of a wider stance. He's got those 90-degree angles in his knees, which I think really helps you in windy surf, and especially in big waves, because you need such a perfect solid stance to navigate bumps, wind, a big surfboard, and you can really see that background in his surfing where he's used to handling big equipment.
You see Koa talking to Anthony Tazi out there in the lineup, exchanging pleasantries and what happened on that last wave. There is some chatting in the lineup. It's not as serious as you think. It's serious about the waves, but they do ask, hey, how you doing? How was that? What's up?
100%. I mean, that was my favorite thing. All the years I've surfed in the Eddie Aikau is the camaraderie, the awkward giggles and chuckles and stories in between sets. You know, it is the best feeling in the world being part of a brotherhood like this.
And this is the kind of day where, are you going to go? No, you can have it. No, you have it. No, you go. No, you go.
Probably not so much with these guys. These guys are all breathing fire. They really want it. So, again, you can see Shano repositioning. He is, again, not by surprise, the deepest in the lineup.
Shane Dorian winning the Billabong Ride of the Year. And in fact, when they do the 5 nominees, it's 5 waves. He was nominated twice. So 2 people on stage, Shane and Shane. And he did win that again. Multiple-time winner. Looks like we got a couple of set waves coming through. We're going to close out in a big way. 7 minutes remaining. Don't move. First set wave comes through. They're going to let it clean up. Shane's showing no interest. Now Ian Walsh has moved to point. He's got the alpha position out the back.
Yeah, you can tell they both have that same lineup. They're kind of level with each other. Ian's just a little further out. So Ian, no doubt, looking for a set wave. And Shane's taking a close look at this one.
Similar to what Ian has done, he's let Shane go out the back, and now Shane to the inside. This scary spot when you look at, you're going to paddle for a wave. Again, there's no priority, but you paddle and you don't get a wave, and you look over and there's another one cleaning up. Is Shane going to make it up and over this?
Ian swinging.
Shane paddling as hard as he can. Ian drops in. Shane's just about getting clipped. Shane loses his board. Ian on this wave now. Your heat leader, his 4th wave, trying to better a 5.93. And just when you think you're in the right spot, you just paddle for safety, and your buddy out there jumps on a wave.
That was amazing. Knifing late drop there from Ian Walsh. He basically hardly paddled. He just swung around and got to his feet. Just checking his fins there. And again, just the skill to knife down that wall. Again, that's the kind of technique you usually get used when you're surfing a hollow right-hander like backdoor. These guys have to do this on 35, 45-foot faces.
And sometimes you'll see them check fins if there's any loose or they can pop out. We saw Makua Kai at Sunset, a fin issue right there, and it wrecked the board. And again, if you're on the wave and something doesn't feel right, he's checking the bottom.
That's true. I mean, you see Ian looking at that little West Bowl there on the insider. I think he's pretty solid. He knows where he stands in this heat. He's feeling confident about moving on, as he should.
5 minutes, we're on the 5-minute clock right now, 5:10 remaining, and they're probably telling from the boats, the flotilla and the personal watercraft out in the lineup, the best in the world is assembled here. Truly a historic event in the sport of surfing, first ever paddle event at Piahi.
Here's the drop. I really wanted to see this. That was unbelievable. And Shane Dorian did get picked off there. He paddled for that first wave, but I just love the commitment from Ian. Not a whole lot of paddling. He basically swung around, maybe gave 2 or 3 strokes, and took off right under the hood. Look at the lip behind Ian. That lip is chasing him down. Shane Dorian barely got out of his way. And again, that's so much commitment. There's wind, there's a ton of water in your eyes. You're basically feeling your way kind of by braille down the face, and you have to stay committed. Again, there's so much in your body, inside your head saying, maybe just pull the plug here, kick out, jump, get out of safety or whatever, but these guys are so brave. They stay committed, they stay over their board.
A very thick 12-foot leash. Could he have possibly run over Shane's leash that might have been floating behind?
Yeah, it's possible, but you know, those leashes are relatively light, and these boards are so heavy, you'll just knife right through it. And that is Nacho Gonzalez. Looks like he got picked off in that set.
Time to throttle up. Now, one thing about the personal watercraft here, you might have a very powerful ski, but there's a lot of aerated water. Here's what happened to Nacho.
Okay, so while we were in that replay, Nacho got this wave right here. A big old fat double up on the West Bowl. Amazing on his backhand. Being a goofy footer here at Jaws is no easy task. It is really hard to get that rail in the water and bottom turn in a pocket. It's a huge advantage for a regular footer.
The
They can get
youngster-
their toe side rail in the water and really knife their way into the barrel. It's very tough for the for the goofy footers to get that same rail in the water.
Youngster paying his dues here at Piahi, but what a learning experience. In 2014 on the Big Wave Tour, he was 5th at Punta Galea. That was the year that Nick Lamb and Makuakai Rothman went head to toe, and Nick Lamb took that lead. There's Ian Walsh out there, and they're discussing the lineup and the technology and hydrodynamics and maybe a little bit of the wind.
And here we go, Ian. They're comparing waves. The judge is taking a long look back there. And this is a wave that Ian Walsh received a 7.67, so that's where the scale's set now. That's a number that's already locked in. So a lot of times the judges, if they need to, if they're not comfortable with the score, they'll take a look back at 1 or 2 waves that have already dropped.
Looking in the lineup, and now we're down to 2:28 remaining. We are on the north shore of Maui on the way to Hana. We are just upwind from Hospitality Beach, Ho'okipa Beach Park. We're about 14 miles east of Kahului, where it's been a busy airport. And Ian says good luck, because coming up next we got semifinals. Let's take a look at Ian's wave.
Again, so the judges wanted to see where Ian's score was previously, and now that's the wave that we're still waiting for. Late drop. But again, that wave ran out of juice, whereas the wave that he received, the 7.67, we all know what he did there. He knifed that inside rail in and pulled into a big old cave. I know he got clipped, but the commitment and just the navigating of that long surfboard, the judges loved it. So they're trying to get that wave to fit in that scale.
Looks like Ian Walsh is kind of on a victory paddle in. Yeah, you don't want to catch a wave right now. We're at 136 remaining. He's got a solid lead at 15.34. And that's a pretty good lead. But he's got another score coming through. It looks like it could be his second best. So he might up the ante a bit. Lenny currently sits in the second spot, and Shane Dorian in third.
Very comfortable 1, 2, 3 right there. Huge separation between them. Nacho, Koa, and Anthony just didn't go their way. In fact, did Anthony catch a wave?
I did not see a wave for Anthony right now. No score on the board. Well, 2 heroic performances in traveling. The young Nacho Gonzalez coming over from Euskadi, the Basque Country of Spain. And then how about Nathan Fletcher coming over from a hospital at about 2:30 in the morning, watching the little baby Jetson being born, and then getting the first flight over here, getting on the boat and getting the lineup. So 2 great effort right there. It's commitment to get around the world with a 72-hour notice.
Yeah, that is a big night for Nathan Fletcher, but it's cool. It's so amazing that he popped over here and committed to this event.
Greg Long, Sean Walsh, Trevor Carlson, Billy Kemper, Gabriel Villaron, Carlos Munoz, Carlos Burley have advanced out of those first 2 heats. Heat 3, it was Albie Layer, Nick Lamb, and Mark Healy. And now it looks like Ian Walsh, Kai Lenny, and Shane Dorian, unless we're going to see some epic ride in the last 15 seconds here.
Well, I'll tell you what, we saw some massive waves right at daybreak, that first couple hours of light. The swell has subsided just a little bit, so hopefully it'll kind of come back and throw something at us for the semis.
We hope you're enjoying this historic event here. The WSL, the horn is blasted. Guess what? There's only 3 more heats remaining. Don't go anywhere, as we have seen some amazing surf, and there is your winner of the last heat. His last wave is 6.33. His doubler was a 7.67. Ian Walsh, local boy, the 32-year-old standout who recently won on the North Shore, is looking good.